machines, artificial intelligent creatures. Let us now call to order this August meeting of, I was using a different word.
Oh, August.
So, of this June meeting, right, of College Council, public comment on non-agenda item.
I just want to make everyone aware that the meeting is being taped, that we're now using the so if you're wondering why there is. So it's being taped and
This proves my point.
It does indeed.
You know, we used to have 3 people here to tape, and now nobody. Just all right.
Let me turn my laptop.
No comments. All right. Review and approval of meeting notes from May 10th. Motion. Huh? That's we don't have quorum, right? So with this meeting notes, we'll have to wait. Do we have a quorum? No, we don't. Did we have a quorum? Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, the update from the college president. Well, you know, we had a wonderful commencement Friday of last week. Greatest number of graduates attended, 1,085, I believe. In all this year, we've awarded 6,200 plus degrees.
6,300.
6,300 degrees awarded.
That was our last.
To 3,200 students, roughly.
No, it was like
3,000 students, about 1.8 or so per student. Right? And this places us among the highest degree awarding in the state of California. So, and you will notice that there are several articles right now praising the various commencement or graduation and that graduation, the Latin graduation, and I want all of you who attended all those events. It was wonderful. Faculty, staff, students, administration coming together to celebrate the success of our students. And as we move forward, I hope we can continue to keep this level of camaraderie, inclusion, collegiality on campus. I want to focus a little bit on the budget. In my report, as you know, we presented a tentative budget to the board. That was a balanced budget. And in the meantime, because our enrollment has so well, it does look like we might have a surplus. But it is a good thing that we have this surplus because we can add to the money that we are putting in the irrevocable trust to cover the unfunded liabilities, especially related to other post-employment benefits, OPEBs, and also to cover our STIRS and PERS contribution. The interesting thing with this budget, as you know, is the funding formula based on completion is now spread over a period of 3 years. And as Dr. Juni will tell you, one good thing about it for us and perhaps for everybody is that the summer FTES now will continue to be counted the way they have been counted. That's correct, right? And also the U building. It does look like the U building will be funded at 100%, minus the cost increase, which can range for us between $9 to $12 million. So that surplus that we may be having can also go towards that money, which means that we may not have to borrow money to finish the building. But regardless of the state funding it 100%, we still have to follow the same footprint. And we are still negotiating with the state right now to add more elevator bank building, and the state is still refusing to allow us additional. The state is still saying that plan not call for that, so will not.
So there currently are two listing, just
One.
only the one?
Just one, right? There are two right now, but the plan that was submitted in 2012 or 13, right?
Two in the building, there's a freight elevator.
But the plan submitted included only that, just that one elevator, so they said that's how we will go with that. And we're negotiating with them. We offered to pay for that, and we were willing to pay up to the maximum and even a little bit more, close to $2 million for that, of our own money, but they said, well, that's a question that the state has to answer, but the state doesn't have to answer. And we are working with them, hopefully. And next year, we will be getting $1.4 million to finish the design. And then if it is still in the budget for next year, that we will be funded 100%, then building will be raised all of when the first period in time when we will be allowed. Okay. All I have, I don't want to take away from the updates from Dr. Juni. Also, let me tell you a little bit about, so my update covers a little bit what you would have heard from Dr. Story. And Student Affairs, as you know, they are planning everything to have a great start of semester, of fall semester, I mean. Right? There will be, pretty soon, they will start meeting with, not meeting with, but opening the welcome centers, right? And also in student services, we will be proceeding with the hiring of an interim director of admissions and records, right? And then following that, there will be an outgoing out permanent director of no. And right now, we are working towards the interim position and permanent position, in fact, for the director of international studies. I don't know whether the interviews have started or not. Next week, next Thursday. So you're in charge of that. Right. And when do you think we might have somebody on board? For the 1st of August? Or?
First of August.
All right, that's what works well.
Unless we can get before the July 18th.
All right. The next thing happening is that the pay raise for faculty should go through very quickly, and the additional 1% bonus for everybody. As of now, we're still saying that the checks will be cut for before July 1st. But there is a possibility that you may all see that check long before that. I believe
These are only a physical check.
Yes. No, these are physical checks because the only things that go straight to your bank are the not mandated, the regular paychecks. Any additional check that you get, the part of that you have to. So you should be receiving an email probably before Friday of next week, if we can issue that check before that. Otherwise, around the 31st of July. That's about all I have.
Is there an update regarding John Muir?
There is and there isn't. There will be on the board, on the agenda for PUSD next week, 3 items. One is an MOU for the dual enrollment. I want here to thank the Faculty Association for signing off on the deal, right? So there will be that one. And the second one will be the lease agreement for John Muir. And that, we're still finishing it, and I think it should be okay. We will lease the building with understanding that there will be 2 rooms that will be used by the high school. That's the band room and the choir. That agreement now includes the parking, which is the student parking, which is, what's the name of that street? It's on the back of the school. Right. And there is also, now we have to work on getting a walkway from the parking lot to the classroom. Okay? We're working on that. That's the second one. And the third one, because the high school district, the school district will be using those two classrooms, provision must be made for adults to be allowed on that campus during the day when the school is open. So we have asked them to pass a resolution making that building and the areas where students will have to walk from the parking lot to the school an open campus. So those are the three items that are on their agenda. We hope that their board will approve those three items. And if they do approve them, there will be a second meeting, right? There is a second one for that MOU?
That's correct.
For the dual enrollment.
The dual enrollment MOU has to go to the board and our board twice.
It will be on our board also.
Be on the, yes,
On the
the July meeting.
July meeting for our board. Any other question? No? Academic.
Okay, a couple of things. I was just going to give an update on where we are in regard to faculty hiring. And so as I've reported before, and I think most people know, we went out for a total of 28 construction side of the house and 4 on this side of the house. And as of now, it appears that up with 28 out of the 32 that we went out for, and with possibly one other, 29. So what that comes down to is we went out to accounting positions, up only one. There was one that was a failed search. We hired someone in business math, engineering, paralegal, 4 English faculty, 1 kinesiology, baseball coach, 4 in math, 2 in biology. We went out doing chemistry, only ended up with 1, so there was also failed. We got 2 new speech instructors, 1 in forensics, 1 in general speech. We got 2 TVR instructors, 1 in television operations and 1 in radio operations and production. 2 political scientists, 2 psychologists, and it's my understanding on the student services side that all 4 of their searches are successful. They haven't gone to the board yet, but that includes 2 general counselors, 1 CTE counselor, and 1 DSPNS specialist. One that is still in process and had to be flown is a CNA instructor. We're still hopeful that we'll have that on board by the beginning of fall, but there is some question that unfortunately the pool has not been large enough to give us a successful search. So we are at Iec having a conversation about some one-year temps in various areas, and we'll be finalizing that conversation the 10th of July. And at that point, I'll know exactly how many temps we might need and where we might be pulling from.
One little update here for the chemistry. We did offer position.
No.
We offered the position to our first choice. Person turned us down, a job elsewhere. We offered that to our second choice, right? The second choice turned us down and went elsewhere also. But there was no third choice.
Well, there were 4 total, and,
Yeah.
and so we offered it to all 4. And one took us up on it. So so yes, that was frustrating.
This is an interesting case where we were satisfied with any one of them.
But they weren't all satisfied with
They
us.
weren't satisfied with us. Yeah. And we had the similar problem in, what was that? It was philosophy or was it in
psychology.
in psychology where our first choice turned us down? Yes, didn't want to come? Yeah. And then, but we did. Oh,
We did.
We did,
We ended up, we went out for 2 in psychology, and we ended up with, we had to offer it 3 times to get, but we ended up.
this is interesting because, I mean, that tells us that there are highly qualified people out there and that there are many jobs available. Yeah. Mr. Altamirano.
The fact that they're saying no, is it more on timing as far as how long we're taking to actually offer the position?
No,
or is
so
it...
if I use chemistry as the example, and I won't get into all the
Right,
details,
and
but
you
the
don't need-
first person who turned us down had an offer from another college that paid considerably more than us. And the second one that turned us down had an offer from a very prestigious Southern California university. And they chose that over one of the best community colleges in the nation.
And sometimes it could be relocating and the timing of that. They want to start in the spring instead of fall.
Very often we hear that. I've heard that. I mean, over my whole career, I've heard that. We need to go early. And so it doesn't matter when you go. Because even if somebody has accepted your position in March, right, this doesn't mean that they're not looking. Accepting a position from an institution early, all it means is that I got a job secure. Now I'm going to keep looking for a better one. That's what people do. And then as soon as they get the last offer can come mid-June, right? You know what? I like this offer better. The fact that you say we've gone to the board, we've got you approved, that means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. People change their mind. But the thing is that we can't change our mind. Once we've made an offer and the offer has been accepted, the institution is locked. The institution cannot say, you know what, I changed my mind. But the person accepting the position, that person is free. Yeah. So people do that all the time.
So, in regard to enrollments, yesterday was the first day of the summer session, and just as a note, it was also the second day of Dr. Junie arriving at PC.
Who's counting?
You came on July 1st.
No, I came on June
You
20th.
did.
You did come up?
Yeah, he did. I remember.
I was pressured by someone who offered me the job to get your signature.
That was.
You broke all traditions, you know, you just set your own traditions.
He took the job and came.
That's right. That's right. So our enrollments, if you look at fill numbers, they look good. We're at 80. We were at 83.8% yesterday. Unfortunately, PCC in regard to enrollments has a condition that is a little bit different than other community colleges. Is that at other community colleges, you see that you're at a certain number on the first day, and you actually go up because adding classes. PCC, we go down, start going down quickly, and so we actually have lost 157 enrollments since yesterday, and so fortunately, my excitement about our enrollments in our FTS generation is dampered a little. Changed their mind, like what you said in regard to offering employment.
The biggest attrition is going to be in that.
Probably.
Yesterday.
Probably. And I know there are students adding, and so I'm hoping that the downward slide will level out or maybe correct, but we'll see. In regard to what that does for FTS generation, we have at this point, based on our FTS carried over from summer 17, fall, winter, spring, we have generated sufficient FTS to meet both pace and growth, with, as of today, the estimate's currently 1,050 excess that for next year. But I'll also indicate that when I report the next time on this, it might be less than that, because yesterday when I calculated 1,005, and then we lost some enrollments. And so since we haven't hit census yet, that's not yet in the book. But that number also will go up because what's not included in there are a couple of things. Number one, not all the positive attendance for the spring semester are in the books yet, and so that's still happening as faculty grades and positive attendance hours. So the amount of FTS we generate for spring will go up. The amount of FTS currently we have for spring is 172 less than spring of 17. Spring semester was the only semester and or intersession this year that was less than last year. We actually generated more from summer, more from fall, and more from winter than the previous session last year. Spring's the only one where we're flying, and that is lessening every day, and so I'm hopeful that close that. But that's all good. I just will clarify one of the things that Dr. Verdian said when he talked about the new funding formula and the impact on summer. What had been suggested by the Chancellor's Office funding formula that colleges would be required to push all of the FTS generated from summer to the following year. So summer of 17 would have to go all to 17-18. Summer of 18 would have to go all to 18-19. What is allowed now and what he has done is split that where you need it. And so that, so we were actually planning in regard to this summer to start being prepared for that shift. We weren't going to be able to be totally prepared with just this summer, but the intent was to generate enough FPS from our summers that by the time had to do that, we'd be okay with it. Now, the new version of the funding formula that come out basically allows us status quo. So that's good for us, most colleges in the state. So that's all I have.
All right. Standing committee report, annual summary.
There are, to my best of my knowledge, 8 standing acts this year. BRAC, IEC, Technology Student Success Accreditation Calendar. So far, I have the annual summaries from BRAC. I have 2 IECs, that's on me.
Okay.
What? Don't.
So we
So I just need everybody to remind, and I talked to Matt Kyman, he was at me. You need student success. Nora, I assume you and I will work on accreditation. And then period calendar?
Yeah.
Okay. Professional development? Jason? Really? Been here a whole year?
Well, Dr. Foster said Jason. That's
Okay,
it.
Jason it is. I will make him do it. No, just kidding. All right, great. Just want to remind him. We do post those on the website.
Yeah. I mean, Jason can do it.
He's been here for all the meetings.
Yeah,
I can help him do it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We weren't very.
How long are those summaries? A page?
Dr. Storty's is that.
A summary that big?
That's it. That's all they give
Can-
me.
can we get
P&P
like
is
a-
about 2
Wait a
pages.
minute, was that width or length?
That's it's on a page. And it's like it's a paragraph.
Can
He
we
gives me a
ask
paragraph.
all the chairs of those committees to give us like a 1 page?
Well, IECs is
All right, let's go
well.
with
I
two.
know I shouldn't say IECs. P&Ps is I just
Right. If
If
we can have like a page or two, right? Then
I
we
think
can,
it should
then
be-
then we should be able
Will
to
you
read.
talk to Dr. Storty?
Don't you worry.
You know how succinct he is.
I was going to say, I have not yet finished calendar committees, but I'm struggling to imagine how it could be longer than
Which is fine.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just like a calendar. That's all you have there.
Yeah, I can give you attachments, but
Do it any way you want. Yeah.
Just all the dates.
Membership.
Possible.
Counting. That's the most important. The counting.
Last finals day, the Monday after commencement. Yeah, I'm just telling you all the things.
That that Dr. Juni himself will be upset with you now because that's his idea, right, Dr. Juni? Monday after commencement. Why do we have
do
to?
you want
meet?
me to explain that?
No. That's
I
all. Thank you,
understand
Dr. Judy.
why.
Please, thank you. We do
Well,
respect your decision on
I
that.
do. It's not my decision. It was a committee decision. But if we did not do that, count the number of Mondays we would have had and the impact it had on Monday
Yes.
class.
I actually think you should put that in your summary. So we
Yeah.
can point to it and
My-
so when people ask,
I have a suggestion to everybody. I mean, you can take my suggestion for whatever it is worth. Why don't we just eliminate Mondays and make Tuesday our?
Did make.
there's a problem.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that we eliminate Monday as a teaching day. So we don't have to worry about it and we make instead of taking breaks on Saturday, Sunday, well, our breaks will be Sunday, Monday. And our Monday classes become Tuesday classes become Monday classes. So it will be, but we won't meet school. We don't have to do school at all on Mondays. Sundays, Monday, that's our weekend. Our first day of the week is Tuesday. So you have Tuesday, Thursday classes, Wednesday, Friday.
So, Dr. Rodin, you actually think that people will be happier about that as opposed to having a final?
Well, that will eliminate a Monday class after commencement.
And every person on this requires child care. I had a Monday class, and what it's
You
worth,
canceled it?
I did not. It was not a problem. They were all there, no complaining, and they had an extra weekend to study, and it went well.
Well, no, that's, I mean, I guess nobody's interested in my.
All right, I have to tell you one other story since you referenced Augusta University. Guards.
I didn't
They,
reference
well,
them.
a university
I
in
said
this
in Southern
Southern
California.
California,
Did
a
not-
university in
did-
the Southern California. There is a university in Southern California that has students at commencement sign papers saying, because classes are not finished and sometimes papers are turned in, they must sign a paper saying if they don't, or something goes wrong, back.
But that's standard procedure. That's standard procedure everywhere.
Correct, because they're not finished, even though they've
Yeah.
held commencement, they're not
Oh yeah,
completed yet. So
that's a standard procedure because they don't even get the diploma there.
they do not, but they
Yeah.
still have to sign that, not all the departments,
Yeah.
but those departments that run after
Okay.
commencement has completed. So one day for us, is not as dramatic, I don't think, as signing a piece of paper, that back, don't. When does it differ?
Would be difficult. Yeah, let's look at that. I mean,
We don't support
we don't award the degrees. That's just
them. They get a holder,
that's it.
soon to
Yeah.
come piece of.
And some of them don't even get those. Those when you apply for a job or you're going to, you don't need that piece of paper. You need transcript. Okay. Anything else, Doc?
No, that's it.
All right. So new items, discussion and possible action. IEC broad recommendations to the college. Ms. Colrose and
She's not here,
So-
so it'll just
Yeah.
be me. So as part of the administrative IEC, to provide broad recommendations, committee's work on reading comprehensive reviews over the year. And these came out of primarily unit comprehensive reviews. Some of the themes or trends that we saw across reviews as we read them and discussed. Communicate with students through students' professionals. Time and again, we read in the unit reviews this inability to communicate with students. You know, we have technology available like that, probably not utilizing it. I think that's what that was about.
Yes.
Streamline and improve the educational process. First, our students had various needs, sometimes met, sometimes not. Sometimes it was a matter of complete confusion. Increase and improve collaboration between students and instruction. This process enables to secure jobs on campus. This was brought up several times. They asked for work studies to get them. They didn't know where to go. They didn't know jobs were advertised. Students were wandering around going from division office to see if they had jobs. We didn't think that was an efficient way for college to use their develop a process to find staff hiring. Obviously, in the unit reviews, we saw a lot of requests for staffing. Staffing that they were requesting was not always aligned with the institution. Were like better process to do that. And we're not talking about faculty, we're talking about the rest of the staff. Provide appropriate faculty office space that afford effective student contact and productive faculty collaboration. We're going to specifically state that big impetus for this. Clearly, it's not provide area for the faculty to have effective contact or for the faculty to appropriately collaborate. I think the idea was to have them be able to collaborate in the office space, kind of turned into what we develop a more effective way of analyzing and distributing budgets so that we're not sure that the way we're doing it right now, but we'd like to have a better process so that we're talking about and viewing resource requests as and how budgets are distributed. And Tita, was this also how supply budgets are distributed? Was that part of that conversation as well? We're not sure they're distributed appropriately to strengthen collaboration with community partners. It's already works, especially in unit reviews. They said outcomes.
What is the recommendation of the group as to what we're doing with? Because I know what we should be doing when I'm asking you. This group here, what should we do with? Dr. Foss. But before we make that commitment, something has to be done with it. Yeah, but that's okay. And anyone else? There's something that I think we need to do with this first before we can proceed. What group on campus is responsible, or what committee is responsible for each one of them? What I was going to suggest, if it is okay with all of you, is we have IEC tell us what group is responsible for each of them. And that then we can come up with a plan on how these things can be done on.
Are you talking training committees?
It could. I'm looking at one of them. It says increase collaboration between student services and instruction to enhance partnerships that support student completion. I mean, I see, for example, in this one, I see Dr. Junior and Dr. Olivo have their teams working together and come up with a plan on how this can be implemented. I think if we can understand what group is in charge of each one of them, develop a process to align staff hiring with institutional needs and goals. I thought that we were doing it, but it does look like there is some more work to be done in that. I mean, how are we going to make that happen? What are the steps involved in it? And what group is responsible for making it happen? All right.
And then charges, and then
An action plan on how this is to be done, and then bring that here to us, and then at that point, we can make a recommendation on whether we can make that commitment or not. And if we can't make the commitment, what is it that we should be doing to make it happen?
Is there any interest or here certain number of? Because if I had to call out one thing, and I think it's going to be the biggest.
Provide appropriate faculty office space that affords. Yeah. You can have many answers to this. Yeah, there are many ways of answering. But he can say to you, well, we are addressing the issue with the construction of the new building, the problem will be resolved. Other people may say, well, what do we do in the meantime? So in the meantime, you need to have something. And if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Foster, I do believe that there are some areas where faculty can meet with students if they just go to that specific office.
That's your office.
No, what I'm saying, I mean, something like that could, I mean, we need a quick fix because I've been in those areas. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've been in the areas where you have 15 faculty members in cubicles, and if a student comes in, you do not have privacy. So we need a quick fix for that. A quick fix for that for right now, as I see it, I may be wrong, is to designate a specific room somewhere there. And I know there are some rooms because I've seen them. There are some rooms down there where if you have a private conversation that you need to have, you could move, the faculty can go to that area with the student. One or two rooms like that. I mean, I don't know, but those are things that we need to be able to address because you're not going to wait 5 years before you fix it. I mean, in the meantime, what would you do? You're sacrificing a whole group of students that can't have a private conversation with their faculty members.
And I would imagine if problem and not move.
But I know those rooms. I've seen a couple of rooms there. So that's something that we probably can work on.
I would add, though, that that's
A Band-Aid.
That's what I'm saying.
right.
Until
that
the building is
Band-Aid
completed.
already being implemented.
Yeah.
It's been implemented for years, and now we are in a state of complacency saying, well,
Right.
we have this Band-Aid, so we can show
No.
a permanent solution.
But
needs
the
to be
permanent
found.
solution is you have to build a building. There's no other permanent solution besides a building. All right. So that's what I'm saying, that we need to be able to figure out how, until that building is up, which will be 4 years or so, what can we do to help in that? Dr. Judy.
Well, and I appreciate that Crystal identified that Psi has a part of this. This is not a problem in that side. This is a problem across. So I'm currently involved in conversations with all of the you were hiring to talk. That's this is,
Right.
and that's not simple as so. There's a number of people involved
Right.
do it. And you're right. I mean, you know, when it comes to facilities, the perfect solution would be renovate or build. But you can't do that,
can't do that.
all the time. And so you have to figure out other ways of doing it. You know, I mean, not this conversation, but you know, we're having other conversations about our learning center. That also takes facility renovation and moving things around. And so, you know, there's some a number of interrelated conversations that are about the utilization of the spaces we have, renovation of the spaces we have, and moving things around. And so I think this is very much to that.
Right.
So it's not, this one is not simple, and it requires the involvement of a lot of people.
Right.
And I appreciate what Lenore is saying is hard to a Band-Aid, but in some cases, some of it is going to have to be temporary until do significant renovation or actual buildings.
I understand. Add the Band-Aid. Everybody's closet. Like this, everybody knows. It's concerned that
Well, I'll ask you, what would, would like for you to suggest a solution. Suggest
I
a
would
solution
love it
for
if our
me.
board members would put a measure on the ballot so that we could raise the funds to build the additional.
Well,
renovate the
but
buildings.
that there's no guarantee that this will pass. You can put a measure there. What if the voters don't pass it? What would you do?
Then we come up with a strategy.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So the solution you're proposing is a solution, but is a solution that is conditioned upon other people. We as an institution we as an institution, what other solution do we have for us to address this within our means, within our budget right now?
We have a surplus that we're devoting to other things.
Well,
Start
it's
devoting
not,
our surpluses to
it's
fund
not
to
other,
do this.
other things. Those are also priorities for the institution. The institution has to pay. We have a liability of $32 million right now to address other post-employment benefits. $32 million that the state, that this institution owes, right? There is a building that needs to be finished that will be short $9 to $12 million. Somebody has to pay for it. All right. So that's why I'm asking, what other solutions can we have in the meantime that you can suggest that we can use within the means that we have? I mean, it's easy to say, well, so and so is responsible, but we also have to be realistic.
I
Okay.
think that getting a bond measure is perfect, as long as our trustee members. are
Like I
willing
said to you, getting a bond measure is realistic, but it is conditional upon whether the voters approve it or not.
And we
Realize that there are changes that have taken place right now in tax laws that don't make those kinds of votes very attractive to the vote. Because now there is a limit on how much a voter can claim. And in this area, 95% of the voters are above that. So you have to be very realistic. So what would you, even if that is passed, you're looking at about 20 years of construction before that problem is fixed. Right? So that's why it is important before we just, that we also have internally some ways of addressing the situation that are not viewed as a band-aid approach, but that they are solutions that can make it work until the permanent solution is accepted. Right? So my suggestion right now is to those 9 recommendations, to have them reviewed and responsibilities assigned, so that within the next 2 months or so, we have an action plan that will come here that we can review and figure out how we can pour some funds that are available to help not make them happen immediately, but at least alleviate the hardships caused these issues. Some of them can be fixed pretty quickly. Like, I'm looking at number 4. That's a simple solution, right? Number 1, that's something that can be fixed almost immediately. Number 2, that can be fixed very quickly also, right? But some of them cannot be fixed quickly, no matter how hard we work, right? So, can we get again? Do we have a quorum now?
Yes.
Okay, so can we get like somebody to maybe make a motion to suggest that we have this reviewed by the committee, so that we can assign the groups that will come up with an action plan.
Want IEC to make that decision and not? Yeah.
So what we're suggesting is that we're making a recommendation to move that to IEC. No?
You see when to sign. It would
Okay.
be this group. Which
Okay.
committee
So the
takes
number 1, the
the
first
role
one
of
is
that?
simple. That will go to IT, district technology.
So I don't understand that one, because it says better assess services and proactive with students. So there's 2 different things in.
So then IT and strategic
IT
communication.
wouldn't be assessing services.
Well, that's a yes or a no. We believe there's tech to assess student services that we're not utilizing. It's in a way that we communicate. They should be, in I would also want like this involved in this. I don't think it's just
Why don't we assign this task of doing this to the chair of, you are the chair of IEC, right?
yes, I am.
Okay, so to the Senate President, the 3 college vice presidents, student services, instruction, Budget and Administrative Services, right? To work together on that, and the classified Senate President as well as management, right? So if you could have one, I think you can get that done in one meeting. If you could meet, you could have a meeting, and then you could look at all 9 of them, right? And then bring us a recommendation as to which group at the college should be looking at them. Then we'll move that on to those groups, asking them for an action plan that we'll review here at our August or September meeting. Is that fair?
I think you should have one of the chairs of the success there, since every recommendation addresses that.
Who's the co-chair of that?
Sheila.
Micaela.
Okay. All right. So we have one of the 2 co-chairs. All right. Okay. So one of the 2 co-chairs of the Student Success Committee will be in that group. So we'll have the Senate President, the 3 Vice Presidents, the classified Senate President, management, plus one of the 2 co-chairs of the Student Success Committee will review these 9, right? Assign responsibility to a specific group on campus, right? And that group will then be informed that they have through August, right, to get to us for our August meeting, right? An action plan on how each can be implemented, right? Until we have a perfect solution to the problem, especially where buildings are concerned. Right? Is that fair? Number 2, 3440 animals on campus. Service animals, animals on campus.
This is to mouse here. All right.
Right.
Animals on campus. Every so often, someone calls me off and says, I just went through all the policies and don't have anything about. That's true, because every few years, bring it forward, and every few years I get shot down. Here I am, once again, bringing it forward. I got asked again. Here it is. There, I worked with our former VP of HR, administrative. You'll see that 2, one that's they talk about animals, and then policy is just basically
Roaming or an attack. It's a roaming attack.
one
Usually in the
You
center.
know how many of them are there on this campus? You know how many ants we have on campus?
Squirrels.
Squirrel.
Well, I'm not going after. I mean, I can specify roaming around as in dogs or cats, but we probably should remove the rodents as well. But I can say that's that. I don't care. Do whatever you want.
I was on a campus where there were rats that would be. Oh.
Which is why you need the cat.
Right, exactly.
So what do we do now with this BP and the 2 accompanying APs?
Well, this is going to have to go through the shared governance
Okay.
process. So
Alright.
this is just step 1 for this, for you to read it. Sessions before
Okay.
I asked the shared governance
Alright.
committee.
Ms.
to take
Rogax?
it.
Can you change ensure with an ensure?
Can you just tell me where it is?
It's at the very bottom.
Now we
Okay.
have to insure
Yeah.
them.
Sure. Oh yeah.
The
Okay.
roaming
Yeah.
and
I'm
the-
sure. Right. All right.
Got it.
Can I make an
Thank you.
observation
Ah.
that this is anecdotally notable in this past? You know, I mean, I hate to be a dog,
Yeah.
but I think the institution would like to have a policy. Such instruments, industry, and I would any plan that is. There was an article in the Wall Street issues that airlines emotional animal. And one of the back was a discussion of how governing are really questioning the value and recommending that their providers sign off. So
And they will sign up. Don't worry about it.
well, but I'm saying that there's a move within the community itself
Until there is a
To
law
control.
passed, right? So we will work on it. So what is the next step?
Oh, you need to recommend that it forward to the shared governance.
Do I hear a
first to go
motion?
through the-
Moved.
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? So motion carries. So
So I'll change the I to
all right,
E.
and then that will go to shared governance.
Yes.
And how long do they have before it comes?
Oh, I
become
don't
mandatory?
know, 6, 8.
Let's ask the shared governance groups here to get that back to us by January of next year.
No?
That's a whole semester. So you have a whole semester to look.
Or one.
We could wait until the dog days of summer.
No, let's not wait till the dog days of summer 2019. All right. AP 4100, graduation requirements for degrees and certificates. Dr. Juni and Dr. Olivo.
I'll let Dr. Olivo do this. So,
Move down to the change. You're
Yeah.
so
This,
funny.
yeah, this side of the table.
okay, so AP 4100, as it states, is about graduation requirements for certificates. This actually is a fairly important AP. There's a lot in it, and so I'll just say that this actually still is being looked at for various renovations by the committee, and so it will be coming back to the body again with additional changes in the not. But that one is taking longer because they're looking at a lot of detail in regard to it, which includes the general ed requirements for the different degrees and things of that. What this is about is a fairly simple change, which if you flip through and look at the third and fourth page, you'll see it changing the certificate of achievement portion. And really, there's two things that are looked at in this regard. One, currently for students apply for the completion of a certificate, they have to find the appropriate office, which is a division office somewhere on campus. So they get to go on an Easter egg hunt to find the right place to apply for that. And so what this is doing is centralizing it so that the certificate of achievement, the application for that will happen just like degrees, and it will happen through the admissions and records office. And so it will make it simpler to apply for that. The other thing that this is doing is starting us down the road of auto-awarding degrees. And so we actually will be using software to identify students that have actually completed degrees and certificates so that they don't have to apply to. So those are the changes that are happening.
So that move, yes?
But also, I just want to reiterate, I think the IEC recommendations as far as technology and stuff, when we're talking about student assessment, is kind of stuff we're talking about
Yeah.
as far as the end. So I'm very happy to hear that.
That's true.
And also, this was a broad recommendation that came out of the IEC that centralized process for students to apply.
Stay.
Hey, you're good.
So a recommendation to distribute this?
This has already gone through
This
the.
is-
Oh, that's gone already?
Yes. And CNI.
So this is for action then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is right.
Motion to
So move.
second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Against? Abstention? Motion carries. So AP 4100 will be posted online? Right? Okay. AP 3251, institutional effectiveness.
This one was initially developed in 2010, all the best intentions in the world. And we went through it this last year. The Institutional Effectiveness Committee did and actually just revised it to align it with our actual current practice. So we took out a lot of the language that didn't apply anymore, and we just said, what is it we actually do? And we aligned the language to match. not really any, the membership stays the same. Mostly it was that we changed because this one will need to go out to the shared governance group, so this is just, we were finally ready. We worked on this all year to the point where we felt it really reflected what we did as a
Motion to send it forward.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? When will it come back?
it should make it through the process, I would think.
November?
Yeah, 2 reads at the academic senate, and the rest of the committee should have. I think
Okay.
we should be back in
All right.
November.
So the service animals will come back in January and this one in November. The service animals?
No.
Well, it may come back in November too. Hard to say.
Well, then it would.
But it's nice that you gave them till January.
No, but that this we have a date, they know that.
Yeah.
All that, yeah,
There's the insurance.
again.
Okay, I'll
All right.
fix this.
Okay. Dr.
I just
Foster?
have a question. I was, is not. On that
Yes,
already?
and I was going to have a conversation with Ms. Colros on that, and I will ask her to meet with your committee, some of the that I have, and then we'll bring it back.
We're hoping to get
Right.
it for the aspect,
Okay.
because they really, during the interview, they really stressed that we had a mission statement.
Yes,
and that we were
but there was
working
nothing in it that addressed directly student success, and diversity was not really present in it. I didn't see student success. I didn't see diversity, and I also didn't see us as a world class institution that deals with the whole world.
And so there's just word.
Somewhere in that mission, we should probably be addressing them, because the way it was written, there were a lot of qualificatives in it that could be interpreted in multiple ways.
Well, we had the same discussion about. We specifically talked about that it's often thrown around that has no meaning.
Yeah.
So what we said, we broke our interpretation of it down into these components, and really we were trying to down the road with the customized student support, innovative programs, onboarding, that thing. was
And let me
our-
take the case of customized student support. Customized student support could very well be seen by many people, could interpret that to mean that each student coming here will have an individual plan on how they will be supported.
They do. They will. We're putting together.
So you're going to have 30,000 plans.
Yes.
Yes.
These are things that we will need to figure out on a way that is.
We're doing it.
Yeah, but I wasn't comfortable
show
with
you the
it, and
draft.
that's why I didn't bring it forward. I want to meet with your committee, with your work group, to discuss that, and then we'll bring it forward.
So but I think I understand, but I think the argument can be made for whatever the brevity of the statement, anyone.
Yeah, but this one, there are too many qualificatives in that. Too many. If you keep going, I think every single noun in it is qualified. Almost every single noun is qualified by something in it.
The adjective.
The adjectives, yes. Almost every single one is qualified by an adjective. And if you look at the number of N's in that, we need to, it has to be written probably. I want to meet with the group and talk about it before we bring it forward.
Okay. The students had strong feelings, just warning
We
you.
had a lot of student input.
I understand that. I'm not saying that we have all that.
Supposed to
Yeah.
be meeting today, right? No, yeah, we need to be in there.
Yeah.
And then the final comment with the global stuff that has.
Okay, well, global, but at least it should be something about worldwide, world view, or whatever it is.
What does that mean?
There's nothing in this. We have a wonderful student abroad program. We have more than 1,200 international students coming to this institution. And there is nothing in that mission that addresses that classifies this college as a college that has a worldwide mission. Why do we send our students abroad if our own mission doesn't say anything about us being a worldwide institution or global institution? The fact that you don't like the word global is okay, but we have to come up with something that can replace it. So this is, you have to look at all those things, right?
If we're being nominated for Aspen and we're in the top 10, then naturally we're rising above all of the other colleges. So naturally that will attract students from all over the world. So I would be in favor of putting some.
Then the other thing I need to look at is as you do your self-study, right? You will have to show how this institution has been doing all those things that you have in it.
Well,
Okay.
sure. So, I mean, this is the conversation about, do we go very brief? Or do we include all of the students we serve? You can't do both, right? So-
It's up to the group, but I have some concern that I want to talk to the group about.
Maybe joining us at noon.
Not today.
Maybe,
No.
maybe if they're like specific solutions. I really love the way that I don't want to that.
Well, I'm not saying you will lose it, but it will. You may have to read.
So if you take a look at it and have a specific global,
Yeah.
right, that would.
But
be
some of
great.
the words from that has to go away also. There are some you can't have this submission the way it is written like. So from what I'm hearing you say is that you want the college to just accept it the way it is being presented.
No, not necessarily. I just want to understand why we're trading out certain words. and
I don't see
replacing
anything in
them
it that really talks about this being a diverse institution. I don't see. I don't see anything in that really addresses that this is a transfer
equitable
institution.
and inclusive.
So
It's
this,
not-
the
Yeah, I
students
mean,
saw diverse as being something from a decade ago, and they thought that equitable and inclusive were the next generation. Because diversity just means that you have different backgrounds. Equitable and inclusive means that you're treating them in a way that's addressing their needs specifically. So I would argue that diversity is covered in one
that we
act.
can argue. You know. So when you argue, there's also a give and take in an argument.
Sure, so
Yeah.
as long as
Okay.
it's a conversation, I'm.
No, I'm saying there's a conversation. No, there is a conversation.
We're gonna like go back.
There is a conversation on that. I mean,
Talk
certain
about
things
our
have to go, certain things have to come in. We can't just accept it
I
as it
understand.
is.
I understand.
Okay,
As
so
long
that
as we both
that's
understand that.
right.
I
So
think equity and inclusiveness, I think that does cover diversity. I remember the students did mention that.
Mhm.
Because it absolutely does it, but at a, no, I mean, it's not necessarily the Bloom's taxonomy, but it's much at a higher level than just diversity.
And the same argument was with success. That is the term that was used generally without actually being held accountable for
Okay,
doing anything
all right.
about it. And
Yeah.
now we're breaking it down to
now
customize student
you're talking
support.
about innovative
Visually.
degrees and certificates. Let me ask this question: what innovative degrees and certificates have we created? Huh? I'm asking honestly.
Well, that refers to our tracking the workforce, in paying attention, right?
That's an innovative degree and certificate.
Well, I mean,
Product
nothing's
design,
innovative.
3D design.
Well, those have been in existence in the 60s, okay? Those have been in existence in the 60s.
You can just say
Okay.
we're offering degree instruction.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can change innovative.
Okay.
That's a.
I mean, there are many things like that. I mean, take a look also.
By others, they're not.
Yeah, so innovative is definitely something we can
Yeah,
revisit.
that's, yeah.
So let's have a conversation with that. We'll meet and discuss it. I'll come to your group, your work group.
But
All
not
right.
today.
When is? Huh?
Not today, though.
No, today no, I can't.
Should we reschedule it?
No.
Join us?
Yes. I mean, there's no sense in spending time.
You can
If
reschedule
you're
me,
gonna
but
be-
I won't be available until the middle of July. Is that okay?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm
Our
involved.
deadline is August 7th? What's the first day of classes? So just as long as we meet, probably need
So
to
the board will
meetings
have, the
before
board
then.
will has a say in the mission also.
Mhm.
The board has a say in the mission.
Of course, and if you're
Yeah.
there to join us, then
Yeah.
we can work
Right.
collaboratively and we can probably get more done than
Right.
if it's us and.
What's the last board meeting before the?
Well, it doesn't matter because
July 18th, the
sorry,
board.
this has to go through shared.
Has to go through, Okay. should go first, but I mean, my.
So this, no matter what, your deadline of August 27th
Yeah.
was not going to be met.
Yeah.
Well, it needs to be August 27th in order to get it to academic senate.
Yeah.
its first meeting. So that deadline is still there in terms of want to get a jump on getting this academic, the other shared governance bodies.
Well, I also think it'd be useful to ask, have developed.
We are
Mission
working on
statement that we're moving
We
to
are
shared
moving to,
governance.
yes,
That's-
that's what, yes.
So July is.
Yeah.
So you guys all have today off, Nora and I, accreditation summary, and I'll schedule a meeting for July.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
According to Dr. Verdian's.
I'll find
No, I
out.
told you, around the July 15.
I'll-
All right. Are we good on that?
Thank you.
All right.
You have quorum, so you.
Okay, let's go, let's review and approve meeting notes from May 10th. A motion to approve,
So moved.
second. Discussion.
Yes.
Yes.
I actually emailed like on a few. I mean, it's just very simple announcements that I made. They're just worded wrong. Where it's the not the Latina something. At the United Latina Scholarship Dinner, it was the President Latino Advisory Committee Scholarship Dinner, and it's the Latinx graduation. So I already emailed her that, but just,
Okay, the fix
so you
it.
guys can know that. Yeah, it's just those different.
Yes, Latinx.
Yeah, exactly. Latinx and the
X.
President Latino Advisory Committee Scholarship, not the United Latina Scholarship.
Who will LULAC? Do you know LULAC? No.
I don't know what that is.
It's one of the biggest organizations in California.
Not here.
It's Latinos United,
No, this is United
Los
Latina.
Angeles County. That's one of the biggest in California. All right, any old items?
None.
Done, okay. Announcements.
I'm making it, probably should have mentioned. We're about to lose one of very important cultural institutions.
I saw that in the
Pasadena
paper this
Museum of
morning.
California Art.
Yes, I saw
16
that this
years,
morning.
and,
Yeah.
we've had partnerships with this
Right.
in the past. We're saddened to hear, and we hope after perhaps a little bit of temporary closing, that
Maybe we should purchase it.
that property is there.
We should purchase it and make it part of our institution.
They're
Yes,
selling
yes.
Fuller Seminary, aren't they?
Yeah, so that is. I mean, I don't think we can afford that one.
UCLA's looking at it
Yeah,
for
UCLA is looking
campus.
at it. Yeah.
And if I also could make a
Yes,
comment
that'd be
here.
great.
Regarding the Management Association Alexos, Tito,
Is the new president?
Leslie Terrapelli, that's to be decided. Rebecca Cobb, Javier.
Oh no, there's
And
other ones.
Stella.
Who is the president now? Tito?
Well,
This is to
it'll
be
be
arranged.
identified. These are the 5 board members that were elected, which is myself, Leslie Trapelli, Rebecca Cobb, Javi, and Dino Segueda.
Okay.
So who's president?
Isela.
Oh, Isela, okay.
That's decided amongst the backshore board. So that's going to be the new board for the Management
Awesome.
Association.
All
When
right.
will it be decided?
You've been tough, those are tough negotiators there.
At their next meeting.
And we
No.
have for classified senate, we'll be finalizing our nominations as well next week on
Okay.
Wednesday.
All
So we'll
right.
be able to
Ms. Rogax?
I would like to thank Valerie Foster for 3 years of exemplary
Yeah,
service.
Yeah. This is your last meeting?
You did it,
Wow. So we won't have this banter anymore.
No more.
Remember, Valerie, that old academic senates never die, Senate representatives never die, they just fade away.
All right. Oh, motion to adjourn.
So moved. Vámonos.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
They have lunch at 12:15 if you want to come and teach. Oh, right. Okay, have a good
That was
class.
decided on actual.
Yeah.
But definitely, like, again, looking at 26 emails, the majority of which have been replies have been in favor, including Leslie, who's actually not working.